Hey model clubbers, Scott Johansson here. Today we're going to do a how-to video for all you 3D printers out there. And today we are going to do a how-to video on changing your FEP in your resin vat using this jig that's available on Thingiverse, and we'll link that below. And you will get a perfect tension with this thing. I love this thing. I know there's going to be a zillion people out there that say I use bottle caps and I use whatever. Hey, whatever works for you is great. I can tell you this thing's awesome. And if you have a filament printer, it's a free download. But you know what? If you download the thing, tip the guy a couple bucks, because this thing's fantastic. So we will move the camera and we will get started. Alrighty. Alright everyone, you're not going to have to look at my ugly mug, but you'll have to listen to me. So we're going to start out with the vat itself. And you start out by removing these 4 corner screws, so you can remove the whole frame. Now I would suggest getting a set of these, and I can put a link of these particular ones that I bought off Amazon. And they just make the process so much easier, and I'm going to show everyone real quick, just to pop these 4 off. I know, this is exciting, isn't it? That's alright, we're going to speed up through the rest of them, but I just want to do these first 4 just to show you how the frame comes out. Okay. So you have your first 4 out. Okay, now your frame's still in, but you then take your next size, which for camera's sake here, we're going to put up, I believe this is the 2.5, and we're going to remove these. And these will remove it from the frame totally. And we'll speed this up. Okay, we're back up. And what you're going to see is I've got these screws removed now. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, let's hope. But you can see now movement in here. Okay, and the key to this is when all of this stuff screws down, it tightens this. Now, do you already see how loose this is? Compared to, remember I hit it before? You thought it was screwed around, but it sounded like a snare drum. Now listen to it. Okay, so we're going to pop this out. We're going to put this off to the side. This is the actual frame. Now, before we put this all back together, we're going to clean all these pieces with some alcohol, because you can kind of see there's some resin on there. You see the shininess, so we're going to clean that. Okay, but for right now, we're going to put it off to the side. And right now, I'm going to take these remaining screws out. So I'm going to pause again while you watch me do that lovely thing. Alrighty, we're back. So I've taken all these smaller screws out. And this is the 3rd size you need, which is the 2. It's probably not going to show up there. There it is. This is the 2. So you need a 2 millimeter, a 2.5, and a 3 for the 4 big ones. So those are really the 3 sizes you need for this. I just bought the set because when you do other 3D printing stuff, you take something apart, you may need it. So I'm going to show you this real quick. Alright, this is the side first, and you can still see some resin on the corners here, and that's normal. Okay, so when you pop this off, now you take this off, and then you take the FEP off, you're gonna see just how loose that really is. But what I'm gonna hope to show you in the camera, so you understand how it works, is you see how there's a ridge there. What happens is, as you tighten down that second set of screws, that pulls this film against the frame, and that's what keeps this thing from leaking. Okay, so you don't have to over torque these screws like they're bolts, lug nut bolts, or anything crazy like that. So I'm going to clean up these frame pieces in the vat back here, and we will come back and I will show you the first step in using this jig and what we do. Alrighty. Be back in a few. We've cleaned up all our frame parts and our vat with some rubbing alcohol. 90, 70, it doesn't matter. Just clean it really good, dry it really good. Okay. and we're ready to install our new FEP sheet. So I use the Elegoo. There's other brands out there. You can use what you want. Elegoo also has one now that is a thicker, supposed to be more robust. They were out of stock when I ordered, so I have these, which are pretty much what come with the Saturn. So I believe you can also use these. The Saturn S has the same VAT that the Saturn does, so everything that I'm doing here can be transferred to that. Okay, so here's your FEP liners. As you can see, I have more. Recommend these before you even start printing. Make sure you have some. I think it comes with one, but I don't remember for sure. Okay, we're going to start this lovely process. So this is where this is the handiest thing in the world. This jig, and again, it's available on Thingiverse. Okay, anyone that needs one printed, if you want to email me for a cost to email it or print it and send it to you, it is S. Sam Robert Johansson SRJ 823. Now don't make fun of me, everyone. At AOL.com. I'm still an AOL dinosaur. Sorry. I have the same email for 20 some years. I'm not changing it. So you set this jig down here, and you take this half. Now this half is the half that has the bigger holes, countersunk. Okay, so you take those holes, and those holes will face down. Okay, so you're like this, and you're gonna put it in there. Okay, do you see how nice that fits? Isn't that awesome? This is just the most awesome thing in the world. Okay, and now we're going to take our FEP sheet, and I have to warn people. Well, look, I took out 2 because I'm a maroon, which is good. It means I've only replaced 3 up till now. This will be number 4. So this FEP sheet has 2 pieces of protective film. I'm going to get in here and show you, hopefully. Okay, and so before you get going here, you have to peel these off. Now, I have a friend who I won't mention who left these on and had a little problem printing afterwards. So it's a little tricky to get started, as you can see here, because I'm an idiot. But we're going to get this off here someday. Okay, so of course the second I pause it, I get it. But anyway, so there's 2 protective films. There's one on each side. And let's see if we can show you that here or not. Yes, so I'm pulling that one. And then there's one on this side as well. Okay. It's okay to get your fingers on this. You don't want a zillion fingerprints on it. Now, what I like to do is this. I peel one off. Okay. It's very staticky. And this is, not everyone wants to do this, but, you know, I haven't scratched an FEP on this yet, but I want to make sure I don't. So I will put this protective layer there and now drop this frame in there. Okay. And what will happen with that is, now I'm going to peel the rest of the FEP. Okay. Now this is the other protective sheet, the real flimsy one. We're going to get rid of that. Here, this is J. And this is your FEP. And we are now going to just gently lay your FEP. And you can see it's a little clingy. It's going to cling on here. So, and it's okay to really touch the edges because you're going to trim those off anyway. And you don't have to worry about straightness. You just want to make sure. Boom. There you go. So, you don't want it all the way to the edge, per se. You want to kind of center it, but there you go. Okay. Looks like a mess, doesn't it? All right. All right. Now you're going to take this second half. Now, this is the pain in the ass half, and simply because there's a zillion screws. Okay. And again, now you see where we got the countersunk. And when I mean by countersunk, so those of you that might not know what that means, is when you have a screw like this and it's countersunk, and you put it in a hole, when you're done, it's flat. It's not sticking out. It's sunk in there. And that's what they call countersunk. So if you didn't know that, you got a lesson. And if you did, then sorry to bore you. So we've got this frame now. And we're going to lay this frame on top of here. Okay, like so. Now, we want to put these screws in. Okay, now I'm not going to bore you while I do this, but I'm going to show you one. Now I like to work from one corner and work my way around. Okay, I don't know that there's a right way, a wrong way, or whatever. You do have to puncture or put a little hole in this to start these. So I just use the smallest thing I can. You don't need a huge hole. So I'm going to start right here in this corner. There you go. Alright, so line up your hole, going all the way through. There you go. You're going to take your small thing. Well, that was awesome. I just dropped one. That's going to be a pain in the ass. Okay, so you take your small thing and put it in here, and you start it. And you'll feel it going in. And the nice thing about these is, you know, they tighten. And there, that one's tight. Now, I go back and tighten them all. I snug them pretty good. So I will work that around. And again, I'll take a pin and I'll go all the way through. Boom, just like that. And I'll grab one of the small screws. I'll just kind of drop it in. Okay. And I'll put that in. And I'll start screwing it down. And see how easy that is? Okay. So I'm going to do all these screws. I'm going to pause. I'm going to do them all the way around because there's like 24 of them or some crazy amount. And we'll come back. So I'm moving along here. I just want to reiterate something that I think is probably the way to go. And maybe I'm wrong. But as I poke these holes, as I told you I was poking them, okay, I don't go to the next one and poke it. I don't go to the next one and poke it. Because every time you tighten one, you actually tighten the FEP a little. And so you don't want that hole to move or get bigger or anything crazy, because if you stretch your hole, you might end up with a leak at some point. So I don't want to do. So I try to get them all snug, and then I'll poke my next hole. And as you see, you just kind of keep turning it till it starts. You don't want to strip these out. They're small and they're easy to strip out. And right now, I'll go back through and just snug them all again when I'm done. And what I did is I started in this corner. I worked my way around to here. And then I came to here, and I'm working my way up here. And the idea is I'm going to work my way, again, to the middle somewhere or to a corner. But, I don't want to skip around. Okay, I want to keep that thing stretching, in a way that it's, has an ending point. So, all right, I'm going to pause again. I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to show you what we got so far. Okay, also, if you do what I did and you put that protective sheet under there, every so often, pick up your FEP and make sure that sheet is not stuck in there, or that you didn't pinch it in the frame, because I know a dummy that did it last time. That would be me. Okay, we'll be back when I finish these screws. Okay, so we have these all in. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off the jig, because I have set at this point my distance, my slack. Okay, I'm also going to take this protective film now that I had put on there off the bottom, and simply because I'm on a nice clean piece of paper, it's not going to scratch it, and I want to finish snugging these up. So, and I don't want to pinch this in the frame like I did last time. So we're going to go through. I'm going to snug all these up to where they're tight, and we're going to come back and do the next step. So I have these all tightened down. Now, as you can see, and I'm just going to gently do it. Do you see all that slack that's still in there? Don't worry about that. So now I have all this frame. Okay. So what I want to do at this point is take an X-Acto or another really sharp blade. I love that X-Acto puts these on here now, by the way, because if you keep that on there and it rolls off, it's not going to go into your foot. Okay. And you take this X-Acto blade, and now we're going to trim all around this. So I have to watch what I'm doing, so I can't watch how it looks in the camera. So hopefully we can see it. We're going to just pick a starting place, and we're going to go nice and smooth. Got a little bit up there, but that's okay. And again, this is why a nice sharp blade is great here. Okay, and we're going to trim that whole thing. And I forgot to do this last time. You can do this after this next step too. I've seen it done both ways. Just a little harder, and you got a little more stuff in there. So I don't know. I like to do it now if I can. So, but be careful. You don't poke a hole in this thing, and you'll see you get a little piece here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm being a little crazy right now. So okay. So we've trimmed that up, and we're going to get rid of all this excess here. Maybe you can see my X-Acto knife rolling. Ow! So we're all trimmed. Got this part done really nice. All these screws are nice and snug. You can still see the looseness in the FEP. That's normal. Don't panic. Okay. We're going to grab the vat now. And the vat goes in upside down here. Okay, now just like I told you about the countersink, we're going to turn this over, and now you're going to see all the countersinks here. Okay. And you're going to lay this in here, and what you're going to see is where the countersink holes are. There's holes. Okay. So, we're going to lay this in here. Now, this is not going to fall down in here really easy. And this is the key to this whole thing, because what happens is as you pull this down, there's a little rim on the vat that this snugs down on. And that's what makes this tight. That's what makes this crazy tight. So again, this is why I don't like to go corner to corner. I like to work my way around to an end. But you do have to start somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to start here. And again, this is one of the bigger Allen heads now. So I'm just going to start here. Okay. And I'm going to drop that screw in there. As you can see, it'll go in there a little bit of a ways there. Okay. I'm going to take this 2.5. This one's 2.5. And we're going to start this one. Now, that's all I'm going to do is start it. Now I'm going to work my way around and start them all, and then I'll snug them down. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm coming back while I'm doing this just to show everybody something. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to poke my hole. Okay, and you're going to feel it go all the way in, and that's fine. Now, when you drop this screw, you kind of want to force it in a little bit till it goes through where you poked. And the reason being is you don't want to use this to poke it through, because if you do, and it slips, you know what happens. That's right. You're doing this all over again because you poke a hole in this thing. And you can probably see just from the little bit of work I've done. And these are just snug. These are not torqued all the way down. Because if you did that, this end would be about this far up probably. So you want to get a nice even tension going and then torque them all the way down. These are now in and torqued down. And what you can probably see too is, do you see, and I'm going to go over here. You see how the frame, we're going to come down here, is now pulled below this ridge. Okay, and as that frame pulls that tightens this FEP. It also makes a seal here so it can't leak. I'm going to play a little something for you here. See again? Now, there's guys that go crazy, and they do sound and everything else, and you can talk in it and get an echo. It's kind of cool. So, the only thing I have left to do now is for the corner bolts, and that's the, I call them the locating bolts because I don't think they really do anything for this process, but we'll put those in. And as you can see, I did what I said I shouldn't do. Okay. Now, these are the only 4 bolts that will stick out or protrude from the frame. The reason being is because they fit in those nice little recessed holes so that this thing goes down nice and easy there and sits in the vat. Okay. I think it does. Maybe I'm wrong. Now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, they got to be there. What they will do is they will keep your FEP off of whatever surface your FEP off whatever surface you turn over your vat on, because they do stick out. These do stick out from the frame, and that's normal. So don't panic about that. Lost my pen. There it is. Come on, folks. I only made you watch me tighten 4 screws here. This isn't too bad. Again, same as the other ones. You just kind of poke them through once you get the hole. Once you feel it go through, stop. And when you're doing any of these screws, if you don't feel them, just tighten right away. Back them out. Don't cross thread them, because you'll be in a world of hurt. Okay. And on any of these, especially if you're using the Allen wrenches that came with it, and be careful you don't strip these out, especially the smaller ones. Okay. And if you even suspect you did, don't put it in. Okay. Back it out. Use one of the extra ones they gave you. You can also get them at Harbor Freight. They're like so cheap. They're dirt cheap. I'll put a link for that too. But in a sense here, folks, tighten these up just a little bit. These corner ones. Okay, we're snug. In a sense, you're done. Look at the tension on it. Look at that beautiful FEP. Now you can see some dust and stuff on there. So we're going to clean that up with a microfiber cloth. And there's a couple ways you can go here. You can roll the dice, and you can go down there and you could set that baby in your printer, fill it with resin, and go. If you're not a dice roller, you can throw a paper towel, put this on a paper towel and some alcohol in there if you want, or whatever, or some resin, and lay it on the paper towel for about an hour and make sure when you pick it up you don't have any leaks. Okay. One last final thing, and this is the first time I changed the FEP, I found this out. Okay. Don't forget to poke holes where your vat hold down screws go, because otherwise you go to put those in and it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So you put them in there, you drop one in there, and folks, we are done. We're back to where we were when we started. Brand new FEP. We're going to be up and printing again in no time. That's our little lesson today. My first how-to video. It probably sucks. Sorry. Hit the like button anyway. How to change an FEP. Now you can also, I think they also make this jig for the Mars. I just printed one up actually for the Mars and sent it to a friend of mine. And a friend of mine, he goes through sheets like more sheets than a hooker in a brothel. Okay, I'm just saying. So, but I love them. So again, you can get these on Amazon. You can get these drivers on Amazon. I'll put the links up. You can use the Allen wrenches that came with it, but for those of you that don't use tools for a living, those little hex heads, you got to make sure they're seated in that thing really well. Otherwise, you're going to have stuff on your chin here. Otherwise, you're going to strip them out. And they're real easy to strip out, which is why Elegoo gives you some extras. You can get extras from McMaster-Carr, and they're pretty cheap, and they come in packs of 100. They'll last you a lifetime, I'm sure. So, keep printing. Love. Thanks to Jason Walker, who gives me a little confidence to do crazy shit like this. And my good friend Jamie Sy, who also is the one that actually sent me this. And I've sent a few people these to kind of play it forward. If you want one, shoot me an email again, srj823@aol.com, and we'll work out a price that'll be really reasonable. Definitely, like, I don't know, like $5 or something, $5-10. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but it'll probably cost more to ship it than I'll charge you for it. And or if you know somebody with a filament printer, again, I'm going to link the file for this. You can print it in resin if you want. This particular one prints in 2 pieces, and you just kind of fit it in, and sure you do, Joey. kind of fit it in, boom, and there it is. But it fits this frame, as you saw, great. And some guys use paper towels, fold them up. Some guys use sponge. Some guys use bottle cap. Whatever works for you. I like this, so if you like this, that's great. If this was not informative, sorry. But it wasn't that long. It's only 25 minutes. All right, everyone. See you next time. Anything you want to know, anything you'd like to see a video of, now that I've done this once, shoot me a message or leave a message here on Facebook. Thanks. Bye.